legislative authority in Asheville, we impact the lives of families in such a weighty responsibility, we believe is a wholly appropriate to petition for help from a higher authority in discussion, reflection, dispensing of our duties as council members. On the silence. Be seated. Mark. Present. Randy. Present. Dave. Yep. Colton. Present. Chad and Matt for excuse. I need a motion to approve the minutes of June 2nd, 2025 regular session.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Presentation, departmental reports. Brian?
We got the truck back. We're waiting on the computer, but other than that, it's ready to go for 4th of July. Also, are we going to block off this parking lot for the fire department stage like we have in the past? We need to let them know for emergencies.
Can we use the area by the water plant for that? The fire department. Can we use that? And I'm saying that fence is out there now. That fence is out there. Last year the fence was there. Fence is out there.
As long as it ain't wet, you could, because if they got off the grass, they're gonna probably sink.
Has there been any complaints going through here? Why not use this parking lot? It's worked out in the past. How many, been 3 or 4 years ago that, right?
I think last was 2 years ago. Last 2 years ago, we just blocked it completely off.
Their preference, we should give them wherever they'd like to set it up. Seems like a use.
Yeah, maybe just ask them and see what they.
Well, that's a good question. You gonna rope off the water plant for people so they can't park in there?
Because you know they're gonna park there if it's open. Sure.
We probably should.
So if you rope it off and say it's for emergency vehicles, then they'll park there.
But I understand the weight factor.
I'll ask Sean, check what he says.
I mean, you could actually, if you needed to, you could drop the helicopter. If you had to.
Right.
If you had to, you could drop the helicopter.
Right.
So we put that on hold, or we going to talk to the chief over there?
Y'all talk to Sean about it.
Okay.
He says.
The other thing is the email that we got about fireworks from the HOA up north. Do we want to put something out that we're going to be strict on this year, that we are going to enforce those in the water bills? That way people know that if we catch them, we will be issuing citations for them. To give them kind of a, here we are.
Fireworks. Motion of fireworks. For this year.
For personal use.
For personal use.
Enforcing not doing it. Is that more necessary?
Yes.
Save all.
Save all not using
Right.
it.
I think you're, how's that work?
I think for the 4th, it's okay, as long as.
You don't have a little. Yeah.
So the reason we have the ordinance here in town is because of the distance between the houses. And every house around here, there's not going to be enough distance between them to set off fireworks legally.
Well, they're getting more brazen every year.
They are.
About these missiles
They are.
and stuff. I
Yeah, and
like
you
that
can buy
phone.
it, darn near anything and shoot anything off.
Yeah.
Professional grade stuff in your backyard, and yeah.
And it's, you know, get
Yeah.
rid of everybody else. And I don't know how you enforce all that. That's, I mean,
It's tough. I mean, we're spread thin to begin with, so we're getting calls left and right. I mean, we got to have to prove who set off fireworks, of course, but if it's something that we do catch and able to catch, and
Do we have a current ordinance?
yes, we do.
say enforce it.
I'm just thinking of something we might want to put out, or
We had letting people
In
know.
the water bill, like you said,
Yeah.
just say, hey, here's our current law.
right.
And if you can get the ordinance or the wording of the ordinance on it, put that on.
Yep. If I can get that to April.
Put it on Facebook.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
We're gonna be putting out another report about how things are going in the village, kind of what projects are starting, where we're at, the projects, timelines and stuff. That's gonna be coming out in the next day or two. Kind of need information on there to, if they want to call or send send emails, they can call me or get information if they'd like. Everything else seems to be going pretty good. The pond up on Hawthorne that's been causing flooding up there, we dug out today. Dug out some piping that was crushed and had a bunch of tree roots blocking it. So tomorrow it should be, excuse me, should be replaced. Stop backing up the water up in the newer housing. So that's a good thing, because that pond would go up 3 or 4 feet, which that just sent the flood waters upstream that much higher as well too. So we tried to run a camera to it, or not a camera, but tried to run something to it last week, and it wouldn't go. So we bought new piping, and Greg's crew dug it out today and saved us quite a bit of money over what contractors want to do it. So should be finished tomorrow. What else? That's about all I have for tonight. We did get approved for water plant funding. So when all that comes around, everything should be good to go. That's still on schedule to go out to bid in 1st of August. So everything's moving forward.
Bert, can we be sure or make everything possible that we can to make sure that Walnut Street and Main Street is safe enough for parades and kids on floats and that stuff?
Main Street will be actually paved over the rough spot there. We actually put down 3 ton of coal patch in the last week. We're going to be probably putting some more down the next 2 weeks just to fill in whatever.
So it'll be covered over.
It's going to be blacktop.
Yeah,
and I've already told them I want the roads cleared and open back up. And it may not be blacktop, but they'll be smooth enough.
Yeah, it'll be passable.
Yeah.
And people will just have to park around the structures. It is what it is.
Yeah, and we ended up only taking down 6 trees instead of 17. You probably still hear somebody complain about 6, but
The majority of those are going to be on East Street.
pardon me?
The majority of the trees.
One of them was on Walnut, one of them was on Church, because it was dead.
Yeah.
And then the other 4
Will be
5 was on
East Street.
on East Street, yeah.
Okay.
And a couple of them were snagged. A couple of them, one of them was a nice tree, but it was dead where the sidewalks were going to go. So.
There's a lot of trees that are in bad shape anyway. Just
Right, and then the other ones that were not taken down, having to clean up, cut up to where emergency vehicles pass through with no problems.
There you
They
go.
had snags up the top of them, cut them out, get rid of any risk that might
And who's
be.
doing the majority of that? Is Ralph doing that?
Ralston, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
They do a good job.
yeah, and I think he got some down this weekend. He'll probably do the rest next. So.
But that's all. I was just concerned about safety with dragging stuff across that intersection, and we're going to be fine.
Yep, that'll all be. They're going to cut it out about 3 or 4 inches, fill it full blacktop, and then roll it, and then look if we got to clean it out later, do whatever we got to do.
Okay,
That's what
cool.
it
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's all I got.
Okay. The legislation for tonight, committee reports.
Yeah, the park committee met regarding the lights at pickleball basketball court and decided to meet July 7th to make a decision one way or the other on whether we do it or not. And that's it. Thanks.
April,
Nothing.
Any final comments from council as far as? I have thought a lot about, there's occasions when this compact, I called the IT company that works with the village. And they said, this machine's out of date, and we don't really service it. And she tried to help me, but she couldn't help me. I have problems every once in a while. One of the problems I have is I have a Microsoft personal account and a village account, and somehow they've gotten intermingled, and I don't know enough about it to get them unmingled. So when I go in here and look at the files, my personal files are on this computer, and I'm wondering I checked with Circleville, they provide their council members with laptops, and I know we're not Circleville, but maybe we ought to give the 21st century, and for those of council that want them, we figure out something that, I don't know whether the office people have Windows operating systems or what, maybe we ought to think about, updating our computers for council members that want them, so they don't get into this bind of using their personal computer for something that could be subject to a subpoena someday, and then you're out, without your computer. I'd just like maybe to talk about it at a future meeting and see if we can make a decision on that. Okay?
Good.
That's all I have.
No, otherwise, we're back after the 4th of July, so hope everybody has a safe, happy 4th of July and fly fish.
Have we heard anything back from the Southwood family?
I actually I pulled Jim's letter and had to change a little bit of the wording in it. And then I sent it out to them last week and I have not. I forgot.
We sent it certified.
I actually sent an email.
Okay.
I sent an email to all three parties.
You might want to consider a normal expensive certified letter so that there can't be any.
I can get it,
I can print it out and autograph that on the desk. Actually, I heard copies of it and send it.
Nothing else. Should you adjourn?
Sure.
Did you find?
I missed, he seconded. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Council seconds.
Yeah.
Return to session.
So, thank you.
Because you're supposed to go off someone, but that's fine.
Sorry, I apologize. Josh Adams with Aspen Energy, just for anybody that doesn't know, we've worked with Ashville for about 10 years. We've been administering, or helping you guys administer the gas aggregation for 6 years. I had sent you an email, Mayor Welsh. I understand you're having some email issues, so I don't think that it made it through. I've been working with Bert on the renewal that's coming up here, getting all the Columbia gas information and whatnot that we need. So the current aggregation program, just so you guys know, if you're not aware, it's expiring in September. We've been on a fixed rate for it was a 3-year term from September of 22 through September of 25. The next term that we were able to negotiate with our supplier base was a little more favorable. I know there's some issues within the community. For more recent times, it was at a pretty high rate. That was right after the Russia-Ukraine conflict and the gas market really spiked. We actually got it at a very good time at that point in the market, the market had actually increased and we were at a decent rate. But since then, over the past couple of years, the market's pulled back and the rate was pretty elevated. So what we've done is we've looked at a adder. So just if you're not aware, how Columbia Gas charges for gas is essentially the NYMEX settle every month, which is the NYMEX Mercantile or the New York Mercantile Exchange. Whatever that settles at every month, plus their adder, which was previously 16.6 cents per CCF. Starting in April, that doubled. It's at 32.5 cents per CCF now, plus the NYMEX settlement every month is what you're paying for gas within Columbia. What we've been able to do is get a rate of, versus the 32.5 cents, we were able to get a rate of 31 cents. So that way we're below the Columbia rate. So no matter what the market does, we're going to be below the Columbia. It's just a 12-month term. So it's September of 2025 through September of 2026. And then, over the next year, we'll be able to, look at other options, kind of getting away from the fixed rate. So that way, the fixed rate's nice because it provides budget certainty, but, we've wound up in a situation to where, we were below the utility for a while, but then, the latter part of the term, we were above the utility. And, it's always our goal to, to provide the best rate that we can and provide savings to the community, but ultimately people can come or go at any time with no opt-out fees. So there's no penalties or fees to get in or out, and they can get in or out at any time. So there's no real strings attached there. But this time, the best thing that we can do is getting below the adder because it's a set adder. So if they're at 32.5 cents, we're at 31. So we're saving the community money no matter what no matter what the market does, like it did this last term. So the we need to get everything in to, to the supplier with Columbia 2 months in advance, just so we can get all the opt-out notices. We collect data from Columbia just to see who's all eligible, so we know who to send opt-out notices, everything to. So just wanting to meet with all of you tonight just to kind of get you up to speed on what's going on, and then work on getting that next term, because we need to really get things moving here, ideally by the end of the week, just to make sure we hit the September start, so there's not a lapse within the aggregation, because it takes about 2 months. We have to have everything, all the opt-out notices sent out by the middle of July, so that way people have time to opt out. We have time to collect all of our data and do all that, and then start hitting meter reads for the people that do want to participate. So,
are they locked in for a year if they go with it, or can they opt out at any time?
no, anytime. So they, if they say they want to, move over from this fixed rate as the gas aggregation renews, they want to go to this adder that's below Columbia, they can do that. If they change their mind the next month or at any point in time during the 12 months, they can always leave. There's no fee to leave. If somebody decides that they want to get into the aggregation, say later on this winter or something like that, they can do that. There's no obligation for anyone to participate or not participate, any fees or anything like that. It's completely open door policy. So
Was the prior term a 3-year term,
yes, sir. Yeah,
and now it's a 1 year?
correct.
And the prior term was a fixed rate,
Correct.
and now it's a variable rate?
So
Right.
the rate in Columbia is a market-based rate because it's wherever the New York Mercantile Exchange settles every month, so it follows the market. Over the past couple of years, the market has been good, but the fixed rates just weren't favorable. We don't want to wind up in a situation again, with Ashville to where we're above the utility. Obviously people love it when we're below the utility. That's always the goal. But if we go above, then people aren't happy. This way we can be sure no matter what the market does that we're going to be below the utility for the next 12 months.
So the rate on this is going to be the mercantile rate plus 31 cents.
31 cents instead of the offer from Columbia, the standard choice offer, which is 32.5. Yep.
So it's going to be like 1 cent different.
Yep. 1.5 cents a CCF, 15 cents MCF.
And this is just the way it is now, 1 year rather than 3 years.
It was the most favorable thing that we could do right now, because over time the adder can change, and so again we don't, that's part of our job is right to kind of inform you guys so we can make the best decision. And right now looking at what was available, like this is what made the most sense. And then over this next 12 months we'll kind of look at the next term and see what options are available, and then kind of revisit. So, but this is what this 12-month deal is what made the most sense for the here and now, and then we'll look and see what makes sense going forward. So. But we really just want to make sure that we're below Columbia and offering savings. So
Does your opt-out letter try to put in a blurb that it's really the state telling the municipality that we give you the customers and then they have the right? People were thinking, well, what right does the village have to sign us up for this? So is that the state law that we're doing that?
Yeah, so kind of to speak to that, so every community in the state of Ohio has to vote on aggregation, right? So Asheville had voted on aggregation, I think it was back in 2018, 2019 timeframe, and it was passed for gas aggregation in Asheville. So at that point, we could work and partner with the community to implement the program. So since the community voted on aggregation, it's completely optional. Nobody has to participate, so it's not council or the mayor or anyone saying that you have to participate. This is completely optional. It's really just the big benefit is that it's giving people a third option, because without aggregation, you're either with the utility or you have to shop it on your own. And a lot of people don't know about shopping it on their own, don't feel about it, don't really feel comfortable doing it on their own because
they don't want to do it.
because sometimes there are early termination fees, or it is a a fixed rate for a couple months and then it, goes through the roof and those kind of things. So it's really just providing another option, and it's something that, people aren't tied to, so they can come and go at any time. So it's really just giving the community more options. And if, people don't like it or don't want to participate, like, absolutely, like, you can opt out. And, I welcome, members of any community that we work with. We have over 50 aggregations in Ohio. Like, they can personally call me. I have business cards, and, I can leave here with you guys tonight as well. I personally take calls, helping people just understand what's going on, answering questions, opting in, opting out. We're not just forcing people to a call center. Like, I'll personally take calls and work with people with getting in and out of the program, or even just answering questions if they're not really sure about the aggregation and want to talk about it. More than happy to do that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I can leave this. I'll just leave you the hard copies this evening, and then if you have any questions, let me know. So this is just the information release, which I believe I sent to Bert. And so the aggregator would just that the community would just sign there, and so we can look at who's eligible. And then this is as I mentioned, the 31 cents. And then it would just be on page 10, with the signature for that. So hopefully that's something we can get rolling this week, and then I'll leave these again if there's any people in the community that actually we want to go to council as well. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to talk about it. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I have your ordinance for you too. I have your ordinance for you.
How much would you give each other?
I got it
Tonight, or should
I go put it for you.
Yeah.
Copy it.
I can email them?
Same way, April.
Yeah.